Hi, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. My name is Jen Neitzel. I am hosting today along with, of course, the main host, Miss Laura Biewer. Hi, Laura.
Hey, good to see everybody.
Laura's teaching today, so I'm going to do the heavy lifting to help her out because I know, are you on your lunch break right now, Laura?
I am, so hopefully everybody's gone. The last 5 minutes, people might start coming in and bothering me.
Sure. I got you today, girl. I got your back. So don't worry about that. But as you guys know, this is kind of like an old fashioned radio call in show. We've got some experts here, Laura and myself, and we've got another Notary Business Builder faculty member with us today, Mr. Matt Miller. And we're here to answer any questions that you might have about your notary business, from marketing to government affairs, which is where Matt and I shine, to basically anything under the notary umbrella, which is where Laura Biewer shines. So, Laura, do you want to kind of get us a little kicked off today?
Yeah, so would love to hear your questions about notarial acts, situations, documents. Please make sure you tell me who you are, and if your name on the screen does not say the state you're from, we always need to know the state because things are not the same for all 50 states. I represent Coach Me Laura, and so this is what I do: is I help notaries on Tuesdays to get a handle on some of these everyday things that come up so they feel better prepared. My goal is to have confident and competent notaries out there doing the work. So if we could use our virtual hand, using your virtual hand will pop your picture up to the top of the screen where we can see it and call on you. If you would remain in mute the rest of the time so that we can not hear what you're doing in the background, but hear the speaker, that would be appreciated. All right, so I don't see anybody's hand. So while we're waiting for people to put their hands up, because this show is about your questions, not ours, let me just make a quick announcement. We usually announce about the conference coming up for the NNA, but I want to particularly point out that the NNA pushed back the start time of their conference to have the official workshop start on Monday, not on Sunday, because it was Mother's Day that day. They're going to have a kickoff networking event on that evening, Sunday night, for those who happen to already be there. And then it officially starts on Monday. So if you weren't aware. And the second thing, since I'm already announcing that, is that if you're interested in checking out who's going to be there, besides, of course, Jen and Bill and myself as presenters, please feel free to use the link that will go in the chat, and it ends in NBB 2024.
Jen has kindly posted that in the chat for us. Thank you so much, Jen. You know, I don't see a lot of hands up, and I know this is kind of a, oh, good, we've got a question, but let me finish my thought really quick. So it's kind of a slower week. I realize most people, you know, they're preparing for Thanksgiving, they're thinking about the holidays coming up, and this is a time of gratitude, of giving thanks. So if today you don't have a question, but you would like to raise your hand and tell us something about this notary business that you are grateful for, we would love to hear that as well, because nothing is better than listening to what people love about this business that we all care so deeply for. But let's start with a question from Lorena Joel. Hi, Lorena.
Hello, I'm Lorena. I'm from Arizona. How are you guys?
Great.
I love your shirt, Laura. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Couple questions. If I remember all of them. Number one, estate planning or estate planners. I think you've mentioned estate planners. How do I search those? Do I just put estate planners?
You might find them under estate planning. You'll find them under attorneys. The marketing term for their specialty is estate planning, and that's probably how you're going to find them.
Okay, estate planning. The second question is, do you still have or do work or trust delivery without explaining or describing documents for some of your attorneys?
I always introduce a document. I never explain a document, but I will always say what the name of the document is. And then I will give a one-liner about it, and then point to I will confirm information if I am without the attorney. If the attorney's already done that, I'm not doing that again. And then I'll get right to the signature line. So if the attorney's leading the appointment and he's hitting those points, I don't need to repeat them. Then I can get right to the signature. However, when I'm on my own doing this, then I make sure I've introduced it. I make sure I confirm personalized information, and then I make sure they know where to sign, date, initial, whatever the requirements are.
Okay, awesome. Beautiful. I think that's all I remember for now. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And if you have more, come on up.
Great questions. Yeah. Anybody else has a question, raise your hand. And speaking of estate planning attorneys, if any of you on this call are certified notary trust delivery agents, can you drop a 1 in the chat, please? So that anybody else on the call that might have some questions about becoming certified to work with estate planning professionals, they can either ask us on this call or they can reach out to you about the program as well. Okay, Jen Cooper, what's your question?
No question. You said you wanted to know what people are grateful
Yes,
for.
gratitude. Yes, gratitude.
Doesn't just be notary.
Just notary?
No, it doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't
No,
have to
but I am. I'm grateful for my notary community. It's one of the greatest parts of being a notary that I could, when people ask me what's my favorite part, that is my favorite part, is the community of notaries that I'm a part of. It is my favorite part, and I'm very grateful for them.
I would agree with you on that 100%. There is something about being a part of an active, supportive notary community that just really helps keep me on track with my business. And so I appreciate that as well. Does anybody else have a question or a statement of gratitude that they would like to share with the group today? We've got a little smaller group. Everybody's getting ready for Thanksgiving this week, I guess.
That's all right. Let me add on to what Jen was saying, in that for those of us who've been around, there was not always a notary community. What you guys are experiencing did not exist when I started 20 years ago, did not exist 10 years ago. It barely existed 5, 6 years ago.
Yep.
And so we are really fortunate today to be in a world where there's a community of support for each other. And for that, I'm grateful.
That is a very, very good one. Yes, I agree with that as well. It makes all the difference. Okay, does anybody else have some gratitude that they would like to share during this season of Thanksgiving? We're just going to be quiet today, I guess. We're a quiet bunch. Hi.
Okay, I'll pipe in there. I tell you what, Michael Cairo here out of the Washington, D.C. greater metropolitan area.
Hi, Michael.
How's everybody doing today?
Good. What are you grateful for today?
Many, many things, but I've been a real estate agent. I am a real estate agent, former mortgage banker. I do notary. It's kind of like the gig economy. If one cylinder isn't firing, then you got to get another cylinder that is firing. And I did go through the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent program. And I've got just a question there. I'd sent some stuff out to a few lawyers and they've responded. And they wanted, and you may have already covered this, but I got so many different things going, so many different places. If you could come back at me and give me the heads up on it, do we bill the lawyer directly or do they bill their clients? I have a feeling that I want to bill them and then they take care of it with their own client.
You're speaking about for a trust delivery?
Trust delivery, yeah. When I'm interacting with a law firm,
Sure.
the lady that I spoke to today, she came back and she goes, well, I'll let my clients know. What are your fees? And I'm thinking the fee, I believe, if I'm right, is between the certified trust delivery agent and the law firm. And you get paid from the law firm, and the business that the law firm has with their client is that their own deal.
Not always.
Not always.
Yeah, not always. Okay. I would say not even going to say 80%, maybe 75% of the time it comes through the attorney, but at least 25% of the time the check is written by the signer separately.
Okay, so it's a little bit of both. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And again, I know that you've covered this like before, and so my apologies for not looking it up or paying attention the first time around, but the average fee for doing a trust delivery is what, $350, $250? I know what the title work is going for, but what can one expect? Give me, a range. Thank you.
So it's a range, and it really depends on geographic. That's going to have a bearing on it. Also, whether you're being hired directly. It can also depend on, is it one person, 2 people, or 3 people? I just did 24 because it was 3 people. But the range can be anywhere from about $100 all the way up to $300-400. On average, you might see somewhere around 150 to 2. Again, if you're in an area that runs higher, then you're going to get more.
Sure.
Than in an area like I'm in the Central Valley. So we don't get as much as somebody, say, in San Francisco might get. So, or San Diego might get.
Well, there's
It's going to be different.
And I'm in Dallas, so what I would make here would be more than someone who was, maybe out in the country somewhere, right?
Sure,
So
understood.
It just depends. Where are you located, Michael?
I can see Virginia and Washington D.C. from my backyard.
So I would ask that if there's anybody on the call who's a certified notary trust delivery agent that lives in that DC area, which is a pretty big area, if you guys could private message Michael.
Sure.
And let him know the rates that you are seeing in your particular area, because it does depend on what the market will bear.
Yeah, I'm just starting out with this, and Washington D.C. is chock full of attorneys, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
I've probably conducted at least 5,000 plus real estate transactions, so I have no problem with handing someone a piece of paper and asking them to sign the document. But thank you very much for your time, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Michael. Okay, it looks like we have a couple people with their hand up, and I did see that James Berry had his hand up, and I neglected to do this last week. James, I owe you a public apology. A couple weeks ago, the National Notary Association shared a wonderful article that you wrote about the basics of Google Business Profile. And I reposted it, and I put your last name as Beard and not Berry. And so I apologize. There is nothing worse than somebody getting your name wrong. And I know that. And I am so very sorry that happened, James. I did correct it, so I hope that you saw the corrected share that I sent out. Okay, Mona, what is your question or moment of gratitude today?
Yay!
You're on mute, Mona.
But
we saw the book though.
So my gratitude is that I read LinkedIn back in 2021, and I'm so excited to see beyond loan signings, because now that the loan signing with title companies has slowed down, everyone and their brother is trying to tell notaries what market to tackle. And it's very shotgun. There's like this sense of desperation. Instead of like retraining and getting some new tools to expand your skill set. And so I've only recently discovered Notary Coach, even though I had that other book. So I'm very grateful to have discovered, and y'all are still here, going great. And so over the holidays, since our kids and grandkids, this is their time away, I'm going to be reading up on these books and figuring out what my plan is for 2024. So that's my gratitude. And my question is, So I took about a year break because my mother became ill and passed away. And when I came back, oh my gosh, everybody and their brother has become a notary coach. And they all talk about, you're going to make $1 million being a notary. The thought of service, the thought of really getting better educated seems to be gone. So I'm wondering what you think about the market with all of these new players telling people they're going to get rich being a notary. What are your thoughts?
Great question, because when somebody's been a notary for a minute and now they've decided I can teach you how to do it, I would have pause about that. So what I would say is check them out, whoever it is, whether they've been one for 20 years and all they've ever done is notarize the same document at their work. That's not the person that's going to give you what you need. So check out their actual experience. Find out, what have they notarized? How long have they notarized? In what environment? Do they have any specialties? What credential might they have that makes them an expert to be able to teach somebody else that? I would be asking powerful questions before I spent money on getting their good counsel. Because you can get opinions from everybody and anybody, but getting good counsel is a little different. And so there are a lot of people out there, and some of them have not been around as long as I have. It doesn't mean they can't be a good coach. I'm just saying, please check it out before you invest money in that education with them. That's what I have to say.
So I'm going to piggyback on that. With the notary business, Mona, just like every other business, is if someone is promising you or telling you that you can make $1 million or whatever the magic number is, it used to be 6 figures, whatever the magic number is, and they're going to charge you 35, 40, 50 bucks for their program. If they're leading with money, you need to really, like Laura said, spend time researching their background and determine what makes them that expert, and see if that fits in with your style of learning.
For me personally, I have no tolerance for some of that. Yeah. It just seems like a lot of people are jumping into this space because the market has shifted.
Yeah. I think you identified it in your opening statement, Mona, yes, when you said, it seems
y'all are
like
my
people
go-to.
are desperate and pivoting, and that's what's happening. They're pivoting to the education piece.
Yeah. So no, y'all are my community. So I have at 62 and having been in the business world since I was 23, I can spot the desperation at 20 paces. Yeah. And so, but it's interesting to me that in the very short time I was away, how much this notary space has changed, and how so many almost charlatans have gotten into it, hoodwinking people that they're going to be bazillionaires by being a notary, and they don't talk about service at all. No. So anyway, so I'm good.
I'm kind of like you in the regard that, having been working my entire adult life, if anybody leads with money, it instantly makes me move away from them and say nope, because that's just, kind of one of those telltale signs of you're up to no good, because all you care about is the money. Mm-hmm. There are some great communities out there, Mona. Yeah. Obviously, Laura and Matt and I and everybody else on the call that's a Notary Business Builder, we support the Notary Business Builder community. But there's so many great communities out there, Notary Stars and Notary to Notary. Just if you are on this call and you're thinking about joining a community, and you should if you're not a part of one, because it just makes such a positive difference, and you have any questions about those communities, you're welcome to reach out to any of us and ask those questions. We'll be happy to tell you if we've heard of this person or not. Right. If we I don't think endorse is the right word, but if we support that particular community. Mm-hmm. But I love that question that you brought up, because I hear that so much, and I see it too on Instagram when I'm scrolling all these different communities that are out, or these different trainers, and I'm like, where did these people come from all of a sudden? where did they just pop up from? But thank you for bringing that up, Mona. It's a great conversation. Hey, Joanne in Washington.
Hey everyone, excuse me for not looking in the directly in the camera. I'm driving, but I have a notary gratitude network gratitude.
Dying to hear it. What is it?
Oh my gosh. So Lisa from NBB, she reached out to me, so I am thankful for NBB and being a part of it. Because as you know, everyone's traveling and there's this last minute real estate documents that bunch of owners in Philly needed to turn in before the end of the month. And one of the owners was here on, traveling to visit family. And she reached out to me last week, and that went well yesterday with the signing.
Nice.
With one of the real estate owners. The property was in Philly. And so I'm thankful for that.
Yes.
This network. I love helping people, all over the convenience of that.
I say it often, but I really believe it, Joanne. I think that the one thing that we all have in common, every single one of us, every notary, is that heart of service. And it just feels good to be of service. And that's something, a trait that, we all share. And that's what makes us good notaries, is that we lead with service in mind. Thank you for sharing that, Joanne. We're thrilled you're part of Notary Business Builder community too. Karen Strebe, how are you today?
Hi, hang on, okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm out and about in my car in a place that has pot shops like left and right. And I have a question that I've asked on the Facebook group about marketing to cannabis dispensaries I hear you all talk about it, but before I go into, literally, right now I'm visiting attorneys' offices, getting cards of state attorneys because I have a giving event on Tuesday, doing free notarization. So I'm visiting attorneys today, but I'm driving past all of these cannabis shops. What kind of needs might they have before I just stop in on a shop? Sure. Do you target the grower, the dispensary, where would they even need a notary?
In both places. Growers need them and dispensaries need them. Growers need permits and sometimes they need background screening stuff done. Dispensaries have several different kinds of documents, and then depending on the state, some states require more documentation
I'm in Washington.
than others.
Right.
Okay, and there are some states, of course, only the growers are legal or only the dispensaries are legal. So you have to know what's going on in your state to know who to go after. I particularly service dispensaries in my area. I haven't had an opportunity to handle the growers yet.
So do you find when you go into a dispensary, is it like the person there behind the counter or the person in the shop, are they going to be the one that you want to talk to, or is there somebody else behind the scenes that you might get punted to? Or
it's usually the manager or the owner. That's who's asking me to notarize, a manager or an owner.
Okay.
And I can tell you, Karen, with growers, they will likely have someone in charge of compliance because they do have yearly compliance documents that need to be notarized. And again, every state is different. So you really have to kind of dive deep into your Washington state cannabis laws and find out what is required first before you go and start knocking on doors, so that you know how you can address them with the documents that they need. Because, when you just walk in and say, hey, I'm a notary, I could help your business, they may not piece it together that there's only that one document or two documents a year that needs to be done or needs to be notarized. They may not be thinking of that. So you really need to know, and each state, they're called something different. Each state has their own, just because it's not federally regulated. So really kind of dive into those cannabis laws in Washington and find out what needs to be notarized so that you can address that specifically with an owner or manager. And then from there, it's a similar process like your 5-point marketing system, where you're going to go in and meet and follow up and touch base with them once a month and try and network up with them and, you know, create some social media posts, connect with them on social media as well.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
Great question. And I'm so glad you asked that. I saw that the other day in our NBB group, and I went to answer, or one of the groups, and I went to answer it. Yeah. And my phone rang and I completely just forgot about it. So I'm so glad you brought it up today, Karen.
Yeah, well, thank you. I saw that you liked the post, so I appreciated that.
I think that's about as far as I got, was liking it.
Yeah, that's okay. It happens to me all the time. I understand. Okay, thank you so much for the answer.
Just to reiterate, in California as well, you will find managers or owners at the store. I handle owners. Now the appointment's made, so the owner is there. It's not like the owner's hanging out, right? Usually the manager's there. But my appointments are not with the manager. They're usually with the owner.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. I'll dig into that. Thank you.
Great. Keep us updated, Karen, on how that's going.
I will. Thanks.
Jen Cooper, do you want to help us share some questions in the chat?
Yeah, I was going to do that. But on the dispensary thing, I think that every dispensary situation is going to be different. I'm in California with Laura. I never deal with the owner. I always deal with managers, assistant, people up below them. I've never met the owner, but this facility is a big one. So just keep your mind open and do your research too, because I think whatever you encounter could be different depending on what area you're in. Yes, I do want to share some. Matt has been answering some, but there's some I think that should be shared with a group because they're very interesting. iPhone, that's her name, is asking about how long a process to petition for notary increase for your state. How does that work, and does change.org work? And I know Matt answered in the chat, but I think it'd actually be really interesting to hear his answer for the rest of the group, because I think a lot of us in different states want to know how to go about and increase our, I'm not saying that I'm in California. I already know people are going, yeah, look at you talking about your $15 per signature. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about other states that aren't making that kind of money. How do you go about changing the statutes for that for any given state, Matt?
Good question, Jen, and thanks for bringing that up because that is a hot topic right now. So for the majority of states, not all states, but for the majority of states, notary fees are regulated by law. So I think the state in question here is New York. You would need to push a law through the legislature and get it passed and signed by the governor's office. A petition can help you get started, but you really are going to need to write that law and shop it around your state's legislatures and see if you can convince one to pick it up and run with it. But some states don't have regulated fees. Some of them are open, where you just set the fee yourself. Some of them are regulated by rulemaking process with your governing body. But for the most part, it's going to have to go through the legislature. In New York, I believe, just had a fee increase with their latest notary law amendments. So you might want to look into that and make sure that you are on board with that and when that fee takes effect. If your state is a state where it's open, then obviously you don't have a problem. Maybe you need to work on your negotiation skills or figure out what your market will bear by doing a competitive rate analysis and adjusting your rates accordingly. Or if you're in a state where it's governed by the rule-making process of your governing body, then you need to lobby your governing body and come to an appropriate fee increase that you are seeking. But in any of these situations, what you need to keep in mind and what the lawmaker or your governing body is going to be asking you and what you're going to have to answer is, how does a fee increase help the public? Because from their perspective, you are a public servant, and therefore a fee increase could be perceived as cumbersome to the public, or it could be seen as adding to inflationary pressures. So you need to develop your argument that would support a fee increase. So for example, maybe you're in a state that doesn't have required training. Maybe you're in a state that doesn't have a required bond. Maybe you're in a state that doesn't have required journaling. And you could say, well, we would tack one of these things on, which will help create a better, more competent professional notary pool, which then will better help serve the public. And then to offset the cost of the notary for the new training or journaling or bond requirement, we need to increase the fee to X, Y, Z. So the fee is at the end of the conversation, and how this might benefit the public as at the beginning of the conversation. Now, if you're in a state like California, where we have one of the highest fees in the nation, and if I would go to the legislature and say, yeah, we want to raise it to $20, and we already have required training and bonding and journaling it's going to be very difficult to convince the legislature to raise a fee for a mandated service to the public. And our legislature is very sensitive to notary issues. And so long as the California legislature and many states' other legislatures mandate by law certain documents for use in your state must be notarized, then notarial fees are going to be looked at heavily. So you need to take in the whole picture of the proposed fee increase beyond your bottom line. So it can be tricky, but it can be done. It has been done. I'm sure it will be done in the future. But if you're looking to start something like that in your state, I would recommend now is the time to start that, because the new legislative sessions will be beginning in January. And I'm happy to help with that. I think Jen posted my information in the chat. If you want to reach out, feel free.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you so much for that, Matt. And I'll tell you guys, Matt is our newest NBB faculty member, and he was brought on specifically to talk about these things for notaries across the country that want to get involved in affecting change for the notary profession. So Jen, if you wouldn't mind posting a link in the chat for me really quick. I know we still have a few questions to address, but if you are interested in joining Notary Business Builder, look at it now. I have it on very good authority. The price is going up soon. Of course, if you're a member, you won't see a price increase, but it's just for new members. So if you guys are interested, now would be a time to look at joining while it's $58 a month, before it goes up to $67 a month. And that's happening very soon. There's real costs involved that we, and people we have to pay that help us every day. Right, Laura?
Absolutely.
Okay. Melissa Dominguez, do you have a question for us?
I do. It's about a notarial form. I have never seen this before, and I would have replaced it automatically with the jurat. But then I'm told that it's just an oath to sign and stamp as is. So is there one? It just says sworn to before me this day. It doesn't have subscribed and sworn, but they are signing it. And then it's just our notarial information.
Yeah. So that is just an oath. An oath does not require, first of all, it doesn't have any mandated language. It can be anything. It does not require identification, although that's a good idea. And it does not require watching any signature, even if they make a signature on the document. So those are the main differences between just an oath by itself versus a jurat. And so in that case, whatever the wording is, you would fill out and you would stamp and sign it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Great question, Melissa. Thank you for bringing that up. Mr. Shannon, I see you hiding down there in our group of awesome notaries today. Do you want to come on and tell us what you've got going on 5 minutes after this call?
Happy to do that. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate that opportunity. I want to wish everybody an early happy Thanksgiving. Hope you get a chance to spend a great amount of time with your family, enjoy the people you love and care about. But as most of you know, 5 minutes after TNT, please join me. I'll be doing my weekly presentation where I explain how you can protect and grow your business, how we can help you generate additional source of income. And with notaries over the last handful of months, the identity theft protection program that we provide has really been, well, just endorsed and embraced and vetted by a lot of great people. So please come to our short presentation. You can text me for the link, or it's being probably typed in as we speak. But please feel free to text me at the number listed by my name, and I'm happy to get you the link for that presentation. But again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Look forward to seeing you 5 minutes after the end of TNT. Thanks, Jen.
You bet. Thank you, Phil. Thank you so much.
Hey, Jen, just to let people know, I put the TNT, there's not a TNT link, but the link I just put in, it's Bill's page. It's for the very bottom, and then you'll get the link for TNT. So if people are looking for it at the top, you're not going to find it.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. And Cassie, how are you today? Cassie, you are still on mute.
Sorry about that. Couldn't find the mute button. How are
There,
you?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is a good follow-up to the question before about the oath. I had a person that was filling out a form for Homeland Security. It was about a maritime position, and the form that he needed notarized was an oath, but it didn't have a notarial certificate. And so I was hearing Laura in my mind, and I was trying to remember about that, because it just had a place for him to sign and then asking for the notary to sign, but like there was no certificate. So my question is, can we stamp and sign without that certificate, or do we need to add an attachment?
So, Cassie, there is no mandated certificate language for an oath, because whatever it is, his promise of truthfulness is, that really is the certificate for it. What you could do is sworn before me and then your stamp and signature. The reason I suggest sworn before me is that they understand why you stamped and signed a document, because not everybody else knows what happened. It may not be obvious on the document that an oath was what was required, and then stamping and signing it. Because I get documents that they just want a stamp and a signature from the notary, but it's not an oath. And I can't do that, right? So the oath, I typically, if it doesn't say sworn before me, I add that little phrase so that if anybody saw it, they know, oh, she just gave an oath. That's how she did. But you don't need a venue. You don't need all the rest of it.
Right. And so you add that little phrase, what, like before your signature or after?
Just before my signature, sworn before me.
Right. Okay. Okay, great. Just wanted to verify. Thank you so much.
Great question, Cassie. Thank you. Tanzania. Am I saying your name right? I hope. Tanzania?
Hi, Jen. Yes, it's Tanzania.
Tanzania. Oh, duh. Knew that was going to happen. It would be something so obvious. Tanzania, how are you today? And what is your question for us?
Thank you. And yeah, I have a question, but I first wanted to just start with just saying thank you so much for all you guys, what you guys do, coming on these calls and just sharing your gems and your knowledge with us every week. And it's really great what you guys do. So keep doing it. We love you so much. I can speak for everyone on the call. I had a mama, I made it moment when you guys liked my post recently. I was like, it was a video on Instagram talking about a notary who was facing.
I shared that one. Yeah, I reshared it.
Yes, I saw it.
I was so excited. So thank you. That made my
great post.
Thank
you.
You.
For everybody, here, you want to describe what was going on with that notary?
Yes. So she is a notary who is facing a trial right now for failing to personally appear her signers in real estate deeds. And so it involved 4 houses. She's in deep trouble. She met up with 2 people in a parking lot, and they did some fraudulent notary work there. And now she's possibly facing 12 years in prison. And a whole bunch of terrible consequences. It's really terrible.
Yeah.
For deed fraud, yes.
And that was in Ohio, I believe, correct?
I think so, yes.
I think it was in Ohio. Actually, once you're done asking your question, Tanzania, if you're able to grab the link, the live link, and post it in the chat so everybody can pull that up and watch it after today's program, that would be great because it was so interesting. Or you guys could just go follow me on Instagram and you can follow both of us on Instagram, right?
That too, exactly. And I'll definitely post it. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. We love what you guys do. Thank you for these notary calls and for all of your knowledge and for helping to build this community, because like you said, it wasn't here. So we're so grateful. I'm also grateful for celebrating a year as a notary. Yeah, and it's been a year because I jumped in the market after the loan signing craze, and I think I was expecting things to just happen, and I had to navigate the market and make my own market in this. And it's taught me a lot about business and just life and just getting out there and learning and networking and building with people. And it's such a great community. So I'm grateful for that. I did have a question, and it was regarding a real estate loan document. I had a loan modification agreement signing yesterday, and with those signings with real estate documents, they tend to, the signing companies tend to tell you like, hey, they have to sign exactly as their name is written. So if their name is Barry Borrower, they want them to sign B-A-R-R-Y, Barry, and then Borrower exactly as is, not just their typical regular scribble signature that signers typically do. I find that I tend to coach my signers before, and I have a practice sheet where I'm like, hey, I know this is not your typical signature, but they require it to go like this, and I write it out, and I write out the date for them, and we practice together. And at first they think I'm crazy until they see the documents, and then they're like, oh, we understand why, and I show them the instructions. I'm finding that, and it's funny, yesterday my signers were calling me a notary signing coach because I was trying to coach them through it. I'm like 11, 20, 2023, because it has to be specific. Now I'm finding that like it's okay with the older generation. They typically know how to sign pretty well as long as you kind of point exactly where the line is. The newer generation, I don't know if it's because everything is typed or if it's because everything's online and they don't have it's the signing skills are not there. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this as well.
So let's help you with that right now. Okay. So first of all, they're not teaching cursive, and that's why people don't know how to sign their names. That's right. The first problem. So a lot of times they're printing their names, but if that's how they sign, then that is their signature. And if their sign is a scribble, that is their signature. And it is not the title company's job or my job to tell them different. I can certainly give the instruction of what they gave. Okay. And say, they've asked you to sign your name the way you see it on the document. And if they say, okay, and then they do one of these, guess what? That's their legal signature. That's what they have to accept.
Okay.
They have to accept it.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
But yes, you're right. I come across the same thing. Lack of signing skills. That's a very polite way to say it. But that's how they sign today.
Right.
Unless somebody's taken the time to learn how to cursively sign.
Okay.
You're right. But we accept it.
So legally they have to accept whatever they scribble on there.
Accept it. Now, if they have a very legible signature and they signed B borrower, and I can read B borrower, I'm going to point it out and say, you've got your whole first name here. I can accept that. I'm not going to tell you how to sign, but what I am going to say is if they don't accept it, I will be back and you will pay me again. Now, okay. That usually speaks to them. They're like, well, yeah, I'm just used to signing it B borrower. Okay, can you sign it Barry borrower? Sure, I can. That's not a big deal. But if they say, look, I don't know how to do it a different way, that's it. That's how it is.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
You
Great
are so
question, Tanzania.
welcome. And that is a common issue we'll see more and more of. And before we take any more questions, I'd like to take a commercial break. I have an announcement, plus there are upcoming events that I want to make sure people are aware of. My announcement is that I'm going to be in the Northridge, Chatsworth, Los Angeles area, December 18th, 20th. And during that time, I would love to have a meetup down there. So if anybody's in that area during that time, reach out to me. I haven't picked a place, but it'll be either the 18th or the 20th, one of those 2 evenings. And we can do something either at a coffee shop or a restaurant or somewhere where somebody would like to meet up with me. You have a chance to meet me in person. And if you have one of my books, I'm happy to sign wrap it for you. So that was my commercial announcement, but there are other things coming up. So for instance, in January is Level Up with Lori Morgan, and that is an internet event. And myself and Bill are speakers, or other speakers besides us. And there's going to be panelists as well on that. And I'm always forgetting. I want to say January 14th, but I don't know if that's the right date.
I think
the right date for Level Up.
I think it's, hang on. Oh, I'm looking at December. That's why.
While she's looking for that,
13, January 13th.
January 13th, I was close. And then there's the Notary Family event that I believe is the 20th of January, and that's in the Sacramento area. And I think tickets are $37. That includes the lunch. That's really why they're charging. And so that's January. And then in March, we have the Meet and Mingle coming up. And that's in Seattle. Jen will be there, Jen Neitzel, myself, and Bill. Matt, are you speaking there? And Matt. So the 4 of us
it's gonna be fun.
as well as Nicola Jackson from the NNA. She's the director over there. So it should be a great crowd and a great time there. And then, of course, upcoming in May is going to be the NNA conference in Orlando, Florida. Again, Jen and Bill and I are speaking separately and together there. And there are about, 10, 12 other speakers besides, lots of different topics being presented there. And that is May 13th, 14th, and 15th. All right, so that takes you to May. We don't need to go out any further right now. There are other things scheduled later in the year, but we'll get to them.
Yes.
Jen, is there anything I missed? I think I got them.
Michigan Consortium is
right
after
after the Michigan Consortium is right after the NNA conference, like the next weekend. Okay.
And that's it for getting us through May, through the NNA conference. And for all of our NBB and Marketing for Notary members, I will be hosting a call in January talking about all the upcoming events for this year. So if you're hosting something, a meetup, and you would like for me to advertise it to those 2 communities, please let me know. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Let me know what your event is anytime in 2024, and I'll be happy to spread the word for you.
All right, Melissa, you have your hand up.
Yes. Real quick, back to the oath that we said, we don't have to ID or anything, but will we put it in our journal? We would journal it?
Yes, it's a notarial act, so you must journal it.
Okay. And then the affiant statement with the jurat, I heard that they weren't using it anymore for California, but then I saw it on the NNA.
Okay. I don't know where you heard that, but that's not a true statement.
Oh, okay. So we can use that form.
Absolutely.
Oh, my
Nothing's
goodness.
changed.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so someone calls you up and they say, "Oh, we don't have any paperwork, but I want my mom to sign this for me so I can help her with whatever." So they could just use that statement.
Yeah, they can write the statement up top, and then that's assuming that the jurat is the type of notarial act that they're looking for.
Okay, and then do you suggest that I suggest, well, I think you should go online and look up other things also, like a POA and things like that, and maybe see what you need, like educate yourself a little more.
Absolutely, because it's not our job to know the right document.
Right. Okay. And then lastly, on the signature, I always ask them if that signature includes their middle name or their middle initial, if it's on the signature line. And if they tell me no, and then you can actually see, tell the two names, I'll ask them if they can try to put that middle initial in the.
I really do not direct people about their signature when it's not legible. I only get involved in that when it's a very obvious undersigning. And only when it's specifically real estate or recordable document. That's really when I know there's a big issue. Okay. James, you came back to us.
I did. Well, I'm at work, so I get clients coming in, so I have to drop off every so often. But I have a gratitude. I just want to thank you, Bill, Jen, and everybody for creating this space in the first place. When I first became a notary, of course, the test is geared towards what not to do. And I didn't know how to be an actual notary, and I was Googling it, and that's how I found TNT, and I've been singing your praises ever since, telling especially new notaries who are super nervous, hey, go here. And it's just been wonderful, and you guys have saved me a few times, so I really appreciate everything you do for us and all the other notaries out there too, and it's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. I know it's our pleasure. James, I know you're in that area.
Oh yes, I can't wait to see you.
Oh, James, are you going to be at the Notary Family event in Rosemead?
There's a Notary Family event in Rosemead?
Isn't it in Rosemead, in that area?
No, yeah, that is where he is.
That's where I am.
The Notary Family one is in Sacramento. Oh, the reason you're looking curious is that you missed something, Jen. Maybe I know something you don't. I know where James is located.
I thought somebody told me it was by Rosemead.
Yeah, it is.
Is that by Rosemead? I don't know.
Sacramento.
Well, he's got a little bit of a commute.
Yeah.
But I know where
you mean where I'm currently at. Oh, yes.
Jen, you're thinking of Roseville.
Yes, Roseville.
Oh, I'm thinking,
okay.
Thank you.
Rosemead is SoCal.
Uh-huh.
I used to live out there.
In Rosemead?
Valley. Yeah, I did.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's such a fun little city.
It is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, everyone.
It's a small world. But anyways, I'll be looking forward to seeing you while I'm down there.
I do as well. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.
You too, James. Thank you for your kind words. I don't know if you heard my apology to you earlier, James, if you had to hop off the call, but I did make a public apology for misspelling your name when I shared your article from the NNA. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
Goodness. It was a great article though. Loved it.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate all the comments, and we try to stay up on answering them as well. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys.
You are so welcome. Thank you, James. Miss Luke Keeler.
Yes. Hello. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I have a quick question. I was going to sign up for the NNA National Convention that's coming up in May, but they have down the bottom a promotion code. Are you guys doing any promotion codes with the NNA? Because I know sometimes there's promotion codes, and I wasn't sure, was they giving it to the different agencies or something like that? Okay.
No, they don't offer discounts on that, except for right now they are doing some early bird pricing. So if you're going to grab that ticket, make sure you grab it before December 1st.
All right.
Pricing ends December 1, it's over. So make sure you get it this month and you'll get the lowest price available.
Thank you.
You got it. And the link is in the chat.
Thank you.
And if you're able, that would be great.
Yeah, if you could use our link, they're just tracking. It's not for promotion.
Yeah, we don't get any money.
We don't get any money for it. They're just.
The link in the where's the link at?
In the chat.
In the chat. Okay.
Is going to put it in the chat for you here in just a moment. Thank you for asking the question, though. And our last question of the day is going to be from Lorena. Hi, Lorena. You're back.
Hi, yeah, I'm back. And I'm driving, so I can't have my video on, but
no problem.
Thank you. A couple of questions for Laura. Have you had any challenges at any point, at least starting out with the trust documents at all? Anything that you could remember? Any challenges?
Well, I'm the goat, so I have no challenges. So, listen, guys, of course I have challenges like everybody else. Yes, absolutely, there have been challenges. I didn't know all the different kinds of documents that could be in a living trust presentation. And so there were documents I'd never seen before that I had to figure out. How do you fill this out? So there was assignment for LLC, and there's a lot of things they have to fill out in different sections of this form. And the very first time I did it, I'm like, I don't know what goes there. I don't know what goes there. Of course, it's not my job to know that, but the signers didn't know either. And I was without an attorney. So I had to actually call and say, you know, we don't know how to fill out this form. So yeah, these things happen. I don't know everything when I start, right? I didn't know notarial acts as well as I know them today. You know, 20 years ago, I was you guys. I didn't have a community. I didn't have anybody except the hotline to call. They got tired of me. So they hired me. See, that's what happened. So yeah, there were some challenges, minimal challenges there. I did loan signings back at that time, and I had more problems with that than I ever did with trust. Trust really were very common. There's like 6, 7 documents you're going to see all the time in there, and then there could be some additional ones. But with loan signings, every package was like totally different, totally new, different documents. Nobody does it the same. That's what my challenges were. Now, if you're talking about challenges in getting those kinds of assignments, I wasn't doing trust when I started. I was doing loan signings and I was going to hospitals. That's what I did. 12, 13 years ago, when I really made a focused attempt to say, this is a specialty, I'm going to develop it and I'm going after it. I got some no's. I got some, what do I need to do? I got a paralegal in the office. And I really had to do a lot of educating to help them understand how and when I can help them facilitate this presentation in a way that helps them have more flexibility for their clients who can't come to an office, help them understand how they could be doing other things other than notarizing if they were both the notary and the attorney, so they could spend their billable hours making money. So those were some of the things I had to learn to do in the beginning, is figure out what's the benefit of using an outside notary for a trust attorney or for a legal plan. So that's what I had starting out.
Beautiful. Thank you for answering my questions. And thank you for doing or creating this certification program for us. It really made me feel more confident. And it's really a great fit, like versus doing loan signings is where you have, you know, loan signings at the last minute and then getting paid after a few weeks and all these challenges. With this is just amazing. And I'm looking forward to doing my first signing. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Our pleasure. Smooth like butter.
Smooth like butter. Well, guys, we are going to wrap things up for today. Before I let Laura close us out, I just wanted to tell everyone that I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I am certainly grateful for this amazing notary community, and to Laura and Bill. I have to pinch myself every day that I get to work with these two amazing individuals. Not only are they great business people, but they're great friends and just, you know, solid people. And I'm so lucky to get to work with them every day. Thank you all for being here. I hope your Thanksgiving is fabulous. Laura, do you want to close us out before we all say goodbye?
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you have a good holiday that's either spent eating great food with friends and people you love, doing fun stuff, and may it not be an or statement, but an and statement, because it's okay to have all of it. And so I hope you enjoy your day. I know I'm going to be enjoying mine. Take care, guys.
Gobble, gobble.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.